Very few people truly understand the Batman. Most people think he's just a brooding rich guy in a suit who patrols Gotham looking for his next victim. And while that's not entirely wrong, his character is much deeper than that. He hides behind a mask, but it's a figurative one. That mask isn't Batman, it's Bruce Wayne. The outside world sees Bruce Wayne as a happy billionaire playboy who wants nothing more than a bunch of women and to get drunk and party, when in reality he's the farthest from that. He's a broken man trying to fix a broken city, a broken system. And when he puts the suit on, he feels he could truly be himself. As the embodiment of fear, Batman is created by fear. And Batman Begins. When Alfred asks Bruce why he chose bats as a symbol, Bruce replies with,
"Bats frightened me. This time my enemies shared my dread."
Basically saying or implying that by becoming what he fears, he is reciprocating or projecting his own fear onto his enemies. And as many enemies as he has, possibly his greatest enemy is himself. He isolates himself from most people out of fear of letting people get too close and losing them. A fear which stems from the guilt he feels because he blames himself for his parents' death. And as we see in the Nolan trilogy and the Matt Reeves Batman movie, his guilt also turns into a form of anger, which is why he wants to stop crime and bring justice while maintaining his moral code of not killing. There's no killing rule, and also the fact that in most continuities he doesn't use guns are because of the fact that that's how he lost his parents. And knows that if he started killing, he wouldn't stop. Depending on the continuity, the Batman suit will either be made out of latex or it's a real crafted bullet-resistant armor. Like in the Christian Bale adaptation of Batman and Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson's, etc. Batman's suit usually always has some sort of bat design in the front as a symbol. And what Robert Pattinson's Batman did differently was that they had his symbol be a tool he can pull out of his chest area, which I feel like really complements the creativity and gadgetry of the Batman character. In my opinion, Batman is the best rogues gallery out of any superhero I've seen this far, because most of them are either similar to him or the complete opposite to who the Batman is. They're not just randomly inserted villains or characters. Batman is a serious tone type of character who doesn't kill, and his most well-known villain, the Joker, is a clown who does kill. A lot. Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face, is a villain with, you guessed it, two faces, and Batman is a man living two lives, which coincide, which represent Two-Face as Batman and Bruce Wayne. Batman is a detective, the Riddler is a Riddler. Batman represents fear, Scarecrow is a villain who sprays you with fear toxin to make you experience your worst fears. You see what I mean? Like, a lot of these villains represent a part of Batman, whether it's physically or emotionally, mentally, in any aspect, which is why even though most of them, like Batman, don't have any power, they're some of the best and most difficult and personal to the character villains in comic book history. Whether it's in the comics, animation, or live-action TV, Batman, the world's greatest detective, is always a highly intelligent character. And to name a few feats, I'll start with how Batman is stated to be the second smartest person on Earth, behind Lex Luthor. And without any powers in Batman vs Superman, he beats Superman by figuring out his weakness, kryptonite. In Justice League Doom, we find out that Batman has a contingency plan for every member of the Justice League, which is crazy impressive how a man without any sort of superpowers can and has and fought against entity-like beings such as Darkseid and Superman, Steppenwolf, and all type of aliens, especially in the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited TV shows, simply by outsmarting them or sometimes just giving them straight up hands, since he is at peak human strength. Now I'm going to talk about Batman's character support, and I'm not going to talk about any of the Robins because they're inconsistent. They grow up and leave, or they change their names, and there's over 4 of them, so I'm going to talk about the man that has been in Batman's life since the very beginning, Alfred Pennyworth. Pretty much as Bruce's father. He's usually the one to care for Batman's wounds when he returns from a mission, and I bring this up because no matter how much of a loner the character of Batman is, he's always, unless Alfred's dead in the universe, he always has Alfred in his corner, helping him, giving him advice even when he doesn't want to hear it, telling him stories of his parents, which goes to show how the Batman may portray himself as someone who doesn't need anyone, but if he didn't have certain people, it's possible he would have turned out completely different if he wasn't instilled with certain principles and morals from his parents while he had them, as well as Alfred being an important factor in his life. The city he wants to save is a city that internally is much like himself, broken, enraged, and extremely dangerous. The difference is Batman has the capability and willpower to use that anger and that urge for vengeance and control it. And the scene in Matt Reeves' Batman, it beautifully shows the transition and realization for Batman. They can help people in broad daylight. He doesn't have to be a vigilante in the shadows only fighting villains because he's angry at what happened to his parents, and completely being the embodiment of vengeance, but fighting villains to genuinely help people and prevent others from going through the same thing, being something more than just fear. This is the Batman.